Let's start with our first news. After delivering a stunning TKO victory over Israel Adesanya, Joe Pyfer didn't explode with wild emotion like many expected. Instead, he stood there, calm, composed, almost as if the moment hadn't fully landed yet. He admitted he thought he would feel more excitement, but what he felt instead was something deeper, something spiritual. He described himself as blessed, saying he truly believes God placed him in this position and chose him just weeks before this life-changing moment. For Pyfer, this wasn't just a win, it was purpose. He made it clear that this victory puts him directly into title contention, confidently stating that he belongs in the top 5. Finishing a fighter like Adesanya is no small feat, and he knows it. But instead of arrogance, he showed gratitude, thanking the UFC and acknowledging that his journey, only 3 years in the promotion, feels almost impossible without a higher power guiding him. What stood out even more was the mindset he carried into the fight. He revealed that, unlike his past experiences filled with anxiety and overthinking, this time he felt completely calm. So calm, in fact, that it almost scared him. No nerves, no pressure, just a quiet confidence. He even felt like he could fall asleep backstage. That's how relaxed he was. And when the fight ended, he felt that his prayers had been answered. Despite the massive win, Pyfer showed nothing but respect toward Adesanya. He called him the greatest middleweight of all time and made it clear he had no intention of disrespecting a legend. He reflected on Adesanya's victory over Alex Pereira and the powerful message that followed, saying moments like that left a lasting impression on him. For Pyfer, sharing the cage with someone he admired for years was something he wanted to honor, not tarnish. He emphasized the importance of giving people their flowers while they're still here, choosing humility over ego. But make no mistake, he also sent a clear warning to the division. He admitted he's human, beatable, and far from perfect, but at the same time, he declared himself a problem for everyone. With confidence in his heart and faith as his foundation, Pyfer made it known, when the call comes, he will step forward without hesitation. Move on to another news. A surprising matchup has just been officially booked, and it's one that has quickly grabbed attention across the combat sports world. Arman is set to face Dylan Danis in a 10-minute submission-only grappling bout under the Hype FC banner, scheduled to go down on April 8th. This is not your typical MMA fight. No striking, no judges, just pure grappling, technique, and submission hunting from start to finish. Both competitors are coming into this matchup fresh off appearances at a recent RIAF 7 event, where they had very different nights. Arman stepped into a rematch against Giorgio Poulis and delivered a strong performance, securing a decisive victory and showing once again why his grappling continues to evolve at a high level. His control, pressure, and composure were on full display, reinforcing his reputation as one of the most well-rounded fighters stepping into these crossover matchups. On the other side, Dylan Danis had a much tougher outing. He faced Colby Covington, but ended up on the losing side, a result that has raised questions about his current form and consistency. Known for his Brazilian jiu-jitsu background and his connection to high-level camps, Danis still carries a reputation as a dangerous submission specialist. However, recent performances have left fans wondering if he can still deliver under pressure. This upcoming clash now becomes a fascinating test of styles and momentum. Arman enters with confidence, sharp form, and recent success backing him, while Danis steps in with something to prove. In a submission-only format, there's no room for stalling or coasting. It's all about finding the finish or imposing dominance for the entire duration. The 10-minute time limit adds another layer of intensity, pushing both athletes to stay aggressive while carefully managing energy and positioning. One mistake could end everything in an instant, and that's exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing. With both men stepping into a pure grappling environment, the spotlight shifts entirely to skill, control, and execution. April 8th is now locked in, and this bout has all the ingredients to deliver a high-stakes, technical battle between two very different competitors looking to make a statement. Move on to another news. Demetrius Johnson had a big night at UFC Seattle, but it came with mixed emotions. While the legendary flyweight was in attendance to receive incredible news about his career, the atmosphere quickly shifted when he witnessed a shocking moment inside the octagon. It was officially announced that Johnson will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame this summer, a well-deserved honor for one of the greatest fighters to ever compete in the sport. However, despite the celebration, there was also a sense of heartbreak. Johnson was cage-side when Israel Adesanya suffered a brutal TKO loss to Joe Pyfer, and the reaction was clear. He was absolutely crushed watching it unfold. For a fighter like Johnson, who understands the grind, the sacrifice, and the pressure at the highest level, moments like that hit different. Adesanya has long been one of the most dominant and respected figures in the middleweight division, and seeing a legend fall in such a decisive way is never easy, especially for fellow fighters who share that same journey. Johnson, known for his composure and respect for the sport, couldn't hide his disappointment as the fight came to an end. The contrast of emotions made the night even more powerful. On one side, a career-defining announcement that cements Johnson's legacy forever. On the other, a harsh reminder of how unforgiving this sport can be, where even the best can fall in an instant. Still, the moment belonged to greatness. Johnson's Hall of Fame induction is a testament to years of dominance, skill, and consistency that very few have ever matched. And even in a night filled with highs and lows, his presence served as a reminder of what true excellence in MMA looks like. Move on to another news. Daniel Cormier shared his thoughts on Israel Adesanya's shocking TKO loss to Joe Pyfer, breaking down the fight and what may have gone wrong for the middleweight superstar. DC noted that Adesanya started the night looking strong, performing well in the early rounds and demonstrating the skills that have made him one of the most respected fighters in the sport. Round 1 showcased his precision, timing, and movement, while Round 2 continued to highlight why he has been dominant in the division. But according to Cormier, everything began to shift when Adesanya made a crucial decision to stand in the center and trade with Pyfer. DC explained that this choice, though surprising, ultimately played into Pyfer's hands. Early in the fight, Joe was missing on many of his attacks, struggling to land cleanly. But once Adesanya decided to engage in a toe-to-toe battle, it gave Pyfer the opening he needed. What looked like a simple change in strategy became the turning point of the fight. DC emphasized that Adesanya's decision to trade, rather than maintain distance and leverage his movement, created an opportunity for Pyfer to capitalize. It was a scenario where experience, timing, and opportunism intersected, and Pyfer executed flawlessly. While Adesanya's skill and preparation were undeniable, the choice to meet Pyfer in the center was a mistake that ultimately determined the outcome. Cormier also noted that Adesanya would likely review the fight afterward and question some of the choices he made. Moments like this can weigh heavily on a fighter of his caliber, especially one who has been dominant for so long. But DC made it clear that these moments are part of the sport and part of the learning curve for every fighter, no matter how skilled. In the end, the night belonged to Joe Pyfer, whose performance showcased strategy, composure, and the ability to capitalize when the opportunity presented itself. Even the greatest fighters can face setbacks when small decisions tilt the balance, and this fight is a reminder of how quickly momentum can shift in MMA. For Israel, it's a night to reflect, analyze, and learn, while Pyfer cements his status as a rising force in the middleweight division, ready to challenge anyone who stands in his way. Move on to another news. Dana White shared his thoughts on the shocking middleweight clash between Israel Adesanya and Joe Pyfer, breaking down both performances with his signature insight. According to the UFC president, Adesanya still looked impressive, showcasing his speed, movement, and mastery of angles early in the fight. He was sharp, precise, and clearly executing the game plan, which reminded everyone why he has been one of the most dominant fighters in the division for years. But as Dana explained, the night ultimately belonged to Joe Pyfer, whose performance was nothing short of remarkable. Entering the octagon as the number 14 ranked fighter, Pyfer faced one of the best middleweights ever, a man ranked number 4 in the world, and not only survived, but finished him. White emphasized just how significant this victory is, noting that to beat someone of Adesanya's caliber, especially in such decisive fashion, is an achievement that instantly elevates Pyfer in the eyes of fans and analysts alike. The win does more than just add a name to Pyfer's resume. It transforms his career trajectory. Dana highlighted that now Pyfer has a legendary fighter on his record, a signature victory that validates him as one of the most dangerous contenders in the middleweight division. With this performance, he has moved into the top 5, a status that is extremely difficult to attain in the UFC, and it positions him for opportunities against the elite fighters in the division. White also reflected on the narrative surrounding Adesanya. While questions will inevitably arise about his current standing in the sport and his next steps after a loss like this, Dana noted that Israel looked excellent for most of the fight, proving that even champions can face challenges when a young, hungry contender executes their plan perfectly. Overall, the night was a statement for Pyfer, showing the world that he is not just a rising star, but a legitimate force to be reckoned with. For Dana, this fight highlights the unpredictable nature of MMA, where preparation, skill, and timing converge to create unforgettable moments. Joe Pyfer's victory over Israel Adesanya is now a defining chapter in his career, one that cements him as a serious contender and a fighter capable of shaking up the middleweight division for years to come. Move on to another news. Dana White provided an update on the highly anticipated returns of two of the UFC's biggest stars, Islam Makhachev and Conor McGregor, giving fans a glimpse at what could be a massive summer for the promotion. According to White, the UFC is currently targeting August for Makhachev's next fight. While the details are still being finalized, this timeline gives the lightweight champion enough time to prepare for a big showdown and maintain momentum in the division. White made it clear that, while discussions are ongoing, nothing has been officially finalized yet. There are no confirmed opponents for Makhachev at this time, and the UFC is still in the planning stages. Despite the uncertainty, the August target gives fans a concrete window to anticipate, and it positions Makhachev to continue building on his already impressive streak in the lightweight division. On the Conor McGregor front, White revealed that a potential return could come as early as July. Again, he stressed that nothing is close to being done, and while there are discussions and possibilities, the details are far from finalized. The UFC president expressed cautious optimism, emphasizing that the matchups and contracts still need to be ironed out before anything is officially announced. When asked about his confidence regarding McGregor's return, White admitted that he is more optimistic now than he has been in the past. He noted that at the end of last year, he already felt confident about McGregor's chances of stepping back into the octagon, and that optimism has carried into this year. While it has been a couple of years since Conor's last fight, White believes the pieces are falling into place for a potential comeback, which could generate massive attention and excitement for the UFC. Overall, White's comments highlight that while timelines are being targeted, August for Makhachev and possibly July for McGregor, fans should temper expectations until contracts and opponents are officially confirmed. Nevertheless, the potential for two of the sport's biggest stars returning within months of each other has the MMA world buzzing. With Makhachev looking to defend his dominance in the lightweight division and McGregor's possible return on the horizon, the summer could be one of the most exciting periods in recent UFC history, filled with high-stakes fights and career-defining moments for both athletes. Move on to another news. Dana White got fired up when asked about Jon Jones and the recent rumors surrounding his potential fights and negotiations. The UFC president made it clear that the situation has been discussed countless times and that Jon Jones knows exactly what happened. White emphasized that the narrative suggesting anything personal, like hate or trying to undermine Jones, is completely false. He pointed out that every week at the UFC, there are countless negotiations and discussions happening, and this is just part of the business. Leading up to this, White explained, Jon Jones has always been respected as one of the greatest fighters of all time, often referred to as the GOAT. Yet, despite all the praise, questions about Jones' willingness to fight or claims about offers, including the $15 million figure, sparked unnecessary controversy. White dismissed the rumors, stressing that these numbers and claims do not reflect the full picture. The reality is that Jones and the UFC operate within contract agreements that guarantee certain fights, and if those conditions are not met, compensation follows. White also highlighted that Jon Jones has never been desperate to fight outside of the agreed schedule. He made it clear that Jones is not clamoring to fight 3 times a year just for the sake of headlines. The UFC's process involves careful planning, contractual obligations, and negotiations, which sometimes leads to misunderstandings or public speculation. Dana stressed that the idea of personal conflict is ridiculous, noting that Jon Jones fully understands how the UFC operates and the reasons behind every decision made regarding his fights. The tone of White's response was both defensive and explanatory, aiming to clear the air once and for all. He wanted to make it obvious that Jon Jones is respected, the negotiations are professional, and any talk about animosity or manipulation is completely unfounded. White's main point was that this is simply how the sport functions. Contracts, obligations, and timing dictate when and how fights happen, not personal vendettas or misunderstandings about money. In the end, Dana White's remarks reinforced Jon Jones's status as one of the UFC's elite athletes, while clarifying that the recent questions about offers, money, and fight schedules are purely procedural. White's message was clear. Jon Jones knows the deal. The UFC operates professionally, and there is no personal conflict or drama behind the scenes. The focus remains on the sport, the fighters, and the proper execution of contracts, ensuring that both the UFC and Jon Jones maintain their legacy at the highest level.